Okay. Well, today we're going to expand based upon what we were looking at before. We looked at getting a single record. We looked at using cursors, multiple records. So now we're going to look at linking two tables together. Now, within my data, where's my sales at? We got this code for region, east, central, so forth. Oftentimes, if you have a code like that, then you have a corresponding master table that goes with it, like a region master. And in the region master, you might have additional information. And I created a region master. I just put two columns in there for now, region and region name. And so the idea would be that this contains like the region name. Eastern United, we'll make it all uppercase, like that. And so if I wanted to, over here, if I wanted to create a query that includes the region name, well, that's not contained in this table. So we have to link over to region master to retrieve the region name. And let's see here. If I get this all on the screen at one time. This is how you do it. You have from, then my sales, comma, region master. These are our table names. You separate them with commas. Now, you have to do more than that to connect them together. And then you do select my sales.region. Before I just had region. But since region is in both tables, you need to tell it which one you're going to use. So I put the table name on the front of it, dot region. Now, region name, I went ahead and put region master on the front of this. I would not have to put region master on the front of it because there's only one region name. Now, if I were to run this, assuming there was an error, I thought I had that working to begin with. Unless it doesn't like the fact that it's on separate lines. Try it again. There it goes. That's irritating. But comes up here, and so we got east, eastern United States, east. You notice that I have this where, and this is equal to that. But in my table, I had other data too. I had central, I had west, and it didn't print any of those. We're going to take a look at a lot of different options in the coming couple weeks about how to do connecting two sets of data together so you don't lose that. But that is an issue when you're working with SQL, that if that record does not exist over in a region master, then it's not going to print. So then you make decisions based upon what you view as the valid data, but it's actually false data. It's dangerous to let a standard user use SQL, because if they don't understand the implications behind that, then they may say that their sales are a lot lower than they would normally be. Well, to get one of those other ones to print, you see how there's a west? Let's go over to our region master and we'll add a west in there. And this will be the Western United States. So now if we go back here and run this, that's the same way to get that to all appear on one screen. Oh well. That's interesting. I still just have Eastern. Did I commit that? I don't think I committed that. Okay, let me go back to Region Master and commit this. Which button is? Yeah, there I saved it. Okay. Now you see East and West in its appropriate region name. Other things you might have in your Region Master is you might have like maybe it doesn't make any sense with the region, but maybe you would have like sales tax. This is probably more appropriate if you have like a city or something. Let's see. Edit. And I'm gonna click the plus. And let me put tax in here. And okay, let me change that. Actually, had a student come in, so let me go ahead and bring up the Zoom out there so he can watch it out there. What's that? All right, watch mine. Okay. So this is going to be a number, and we'll make an integer, or no, not an integer. A float. So we're used to using double. But I want to use something different. Okay. Click OK on that. I'm going to go to my data. Put 0.03 there. No 5 there. So then up here, declare tax. And float. Actually, let me show it here first. So if I want to bring tax in, then I can just call it tax. You see it prompts me for that, but it should allow just tax. Okay, so let me run that. No. Helps if I commit this again. Let's see which one's commit. There it is. Commit changes means it saves those. And now I see it brings in appropriate tax for that. Where you use this at is at Coke Industries, we had to keep track of sales tax for city and county, and because they did sales all over the United States. So if the city and the county were equal to a certain amount, uh, then you'd have to figure that accordingly. Is that too disturbing to you, Austin? Is that too disturbing? Okay. It's kind of I hear my voice out there, so I was hoping I wasn't throwing him off. Okay. Does that make sense of what like a tax would be used for in that? Okay. Now in the PLSQL, how you implement that is pretty much the same way. It's almost do it over in SQL first, see what it should look like, and then you implement it over here. So I do a select my sales.region, and then region master.region name from, and this concatenates it together. And then my sales, comma, region master. That corresponds to this part right here. And then where my sales.region is equal to region master.region. Again, that corresponds to this next piece right there. And let's see, I printed a string just so I see what the SQL looks like. That's always a good idea, because if it's not working right, which mine wasn't at first, then you can put that in there to see what it looks like. In case you're wondering why did I do the SQL even to begin with, instead of just doing it right in the PLSQL code, is it was not working. So that's why I came over here, I built my SQL, and then I used that to help me build this string. And I open it for the string, the cursor, and then I fetch the results into p underscore region, p underscore region name. Now this is just a single record. So when I run this, it prints just a single record. But we'll get back to that. And helps if I would put a space in between them, maybe. Let's add a tax in. So do tax there. And that's my third column. So down here, when I do the fetch into it, I want to do a comma p underscore tax. Then down here, I want to concatenate that together so I see what tax is. And you see it's weird. I guess I didn't put a space. Puts my 0.03. Okay, so that's how you add in an additional table. We're gonna build another table just to show you completely from scratch how to do it. But let's go over and see if we can debug what's wrong with my other code here. I think it's this one. And I think I see that one of the problems already. This is the one I was trying to build for the multiple records. And I'm thinking in other programming languages, concatenation with strings or concatenation in general is the two pipe symbols. Don't know if that's what my issue is, but it's pretty much the same code as the other one. And region name, p item, p total. Okay, so let's run that. Oops. Is that an old one? Let me see. Put that out, run it again. That was an old error. Okay, so that's working now. And see, it's printing east and then eastern United States. It still has the issue that if the region master doesn't have all your regions, then it's not going to return those records. Maybe you want that. It all depends upon how you design your database. Now let's add tax in there. So tax, or follow my convention, p underscore tax, it's a float. And I should at some point see, and I'll have to do some playing to see how to do it before I show it to you. Why can't I make that bigger? There's nothing over there. But I should at some point play with the blob. Because in your, if I were to edit this, columns, edit. I'm not going to save this, but You see there's one that says blob. Um, you might think, well, when would you ever use this? I spent about 3 hours, maybe 4 hours last week, accessing a relational database, SQLite database, through an iOS app that I wrote, trying to convert a blob to something I could actually use. It was horrible. Um, blob is like a sequence of hex characters, sequence of characters, and it did not convert to a string just as slick as you could imagine. It took a lot of effort to get that blob converted over. But the idea is you're not restricted because it can contain a, blob of characters. I guess you could think of it that way. How they viewed it, how they showed it in SQLite is a series of hex characters. So I thought, well, that's easy. I just need to convert the hex over to decimal. But they were supposed to be, I think, no, that was alphanumeric. So it's a headache. Okay, back to this. I digress. Region name, total. So I'm going to add it on here, put a comma. The string, and tax. Now again, you can put region master.tax if you want, and that's not bad. It's documents exactly where it's coming from, but it isn't necessary if it's in one table. Now, let's say I put this in a production note, and I'm happy my program's working and everything. Somebody comes along, another programmer, and adds a column over here called tax. What do you think that would do to will potentially do to my program? I would guess it'd break it in some form. Either it'd return invalid results or just give them an error. So it's not a bad idea to put the region master on the front of it to avoid situations like that. Okay, so we got that. That's the last item. So P underscore tax, that's what I call it. And down here, I'm going to print it out. Put line P tax. So I must have a put line somewhere. There it is. Clear that, run it again. And I see my tax on there at the end. Okay, so let's add some more into this. Going back to my sales, looking at data, I have the rep. It looks like this is their last name. Well, where's their first name? Maybe I got some kind of rating goes along with the rep, depending upon how much they sell. So I want a rep master. So I come up here, my tables. I can right click on it, choose new table. And I'll type rep master. Probably guessing on this. So I don't think I can click over here. Oh well. Come here, and it doesn't hurt to make it the same name. It self-documents them. How do you link from this table to this table? Well, they both are rep. I'm like I say, I should have jotted down what the size was before I came over here. And this will be their first name. last name, address, city, address of 20. Boy, that would be bad. Say 100. City might be too few. State. And I want this to be 2 characters. Rating. Or no zip. Do zip first. Let's say that's a number. I don't remember if I do comma here or not. I'll just do 5. See what it says. And I said rating. And let me choose an integer on that, just to show something different. I don't think I'd put size on integer. Then I click OK. So I got my rep master. Now let's go look what rep really is. Columns. Rep is 26. Rep 20. See, I could create issues. So we edit that. Is at 26. Now let me look up one of my reps. Jones. So I'm going to come over here and insert data. Jones. And name is Bill Jones. And I apologize, you can't really see that very well. But I was trying to make it big enough so you could actually see it on your end, yet still have it upload in hopefully a high definition. We'll see. 100 Main Street. I'm just doing a tab to go to the next blank. Wellington, Kansas. I don't know what the code is here. Rating of 3. And commit it. So that's this little check mark. I will save that record. Okay, so now let's say I want to bring in something into my main query from this table. I want to bring in city, even though that wouldn't make any sense. So up here, I need a comma here because I'm putting a new field in. The string colon equal the string. And webmaster dot and I think it was a city. And P city because varchar 20. And that's my last one. So P underscore city. Down here, concatenate that. Give her the put line. We also need up here something additional here. So the string colon equal to the string, concatenate together, and my sales dot rep equals to rep master dot rep. This links these two tables together. This links these two tables together. And error, or maybe I got an error. ES rep error report, line 22. Unless it was trying to run what I had highlighted. Okay, it was. Got another issue. Invalid identifier rep master dot rep. There it is. I don't have it in the from. Got to list all of your tables in the from. And I see it brings in Wellington. And if I go look up at the rep for this, which I can't because I didn't actually put it in my query, let's try it again. The order of it is important. So we're my sales dot rep. I'm gonna guess on this. Was it 26? Okay. And my sales reps, last one. P underscore rep. Then concatenate it. There we go. Okay, so Jones, and that's old. Okay, so it's working. Because remember, we created a Jones for Wellington. I was pretty sure since it's coming with Wellington is correct, but I wanted to show that connection there. Another table we might create is state master. So you can keep track of the states. Reason why is here in the rep master, you see how we have KS. My first real database application I created, I screwed that up. I allowed them to freeform put in the state. And we're going to see how you can put constraints on it, such that if you try to put in something that isn't over in the other table, it'll give you an error. But my my first database project at Coke, I didn't do that. And they put the state in all kinds of different forms. KS, KS period, Kansas spelled out, Oz, whatever they put in there. They went to run a report, and all of a sudden it was sorting by state, and there's about 5 or 6 subsections for Kansas, or 5 or 6 replacements for Kansas, and they couldn't see what the total sales were for Kansas, for example. So I had to go and do a lot of cleanup, and ever since then I realized the importance of having verification tables. Okay, so come up here, I'm going to right click and choose new table, state master, and let's see, this one will be ours. Now I called the other one, I'd call that one state, so name it same. I think I probably did 2, hopefully. If I did 20, I probably should change that. Then state name. And I don't know if there's any bigger than 20. You don't want to make it bigger than it needs to be. But, okay, so click OK on that. And there it is. So go there and insert a record. KS, Kansas. You see, it doesn't have to have a whole lot. It just has to be there for verification purposes. And now if I set up in the database such that anytime you input state over here, it has to be in this table. And again, we'll look at that. Then it's set up automatically. If they try to put in something that's invalid, it'll give them an error. Okay, so if I was to change that, let's see. By the way, you don't even have to return anything. So I could just put it in here. Where's my from at? State master. Then I need another one added onto here. Notice I put a space there. That's why it's important to print off your SQL statement, because if I didn't put a space there, I could potentially mess it up if I didn't put a space here. So if I did an and like that, no space, and that, no space, it would concatenate those two right next to each other. So you at least have to have space somewhere. And where was that at? Rep master. Rep master dot state equals state master dot state. And if I run that, oops, I should have compiled it. Of course, error. Error report. Character string buffer too small, big? It's too small. That's 512. Character buffer too small. Line 22. Suppose that's because I made state 2 and it's probably not 2. Well, no, I didn't put state in here. Line 22. I sure don't see anything wrong there. Cut that out. Get rid of this. I should be back to where it was. And that's working. State master dot state, or not state. Of course, helps if I put it in the right place. Back to working. Okay, so that looks good. And put it down here. State master. Working. So this is where it doesn't like that. This helps you narrow down exactly where your issue is. And rep master dot state equals to state master dot state. I have no clue what I was doing wrong the first time. How bizarre. Anyway, that's how you connect them together. Now, we didn't get any data returned, and that's what I want to talk about now. You can get the 3D up here. Some issues you have. Is if you got a table here and you're linking it. For example, that was our sales, and we were linking it to region master. This was what's called a one-to-one link. It means for each record in our main table, there's only one record in the region master. We also linking it to the rep master. Which was a one-to-one. For each record here, there was just one rep master. From region master, then, we were going to the state master. And the idea would be there'd just be one item there. Now, part of the problem is your SQLs get too complex, And let's see here. Okay, so we got our Kansas here and Kansas here. So now it should make a connection. I didn't post that because I want to demonstrate that if this right here does not find a state, it will break all of this. Does that make sense? So all these things you have to keep in mind when you're running these. And now you see we got our record. Oh, we got lots of records. Now that's one issue. Now I'm going to show you another problem. Let me clear this off. I think I got time. Yeah. If you got a table and it's going to another table with a one-to-many, and it's going to another table here with a one-to-many. This causes you major headaches. You can get around this by PLSQL. If you're doing regular SQL, it just does not like it. Gives you bizarre results. You're not going to be able to understand what you're seeing. With PLSQL, we can fire off one of them and build a cursor, and then we can do some manipulation and we can fire off the other one. That's always been a major issue with SQL. How do you go to one-to-many of this table and one-to-many of this table? Now, one more example, and then I'll give you the project. So we got a table here, and it's going one to another table. That's fine. This is going one-to-many to so for each record here, there's many records here. That's still fine. You go one-to-many here, that's still fine. You just can't have two branch off with a one-to-many. It causes the issues. Now, let's see if I can find some examples here. List of students in a major. These are ones I've created in real life. And so this is just a standard thing that a programmer does. You see how you pull in, and you look how many tables there are. Student master, degree history, name master, address master, major, minor, definition. The even worse, how Tally stores some of its data, how you tell somebody what their major is in the address line 1, they put the at, I think. No, the at was to find the email address. But it's just strange how you have to do this sometimes to get your results. So again, 5 tables linked together to just pull a list of students in a major with their email address. This is not something that you can create real fast. Sometimes it takes a while. Now, what I want you to do as a project on this is go to whatever location you want. Go to Amazon if you want, and bring up a product page, And I want you to build. You don't have to do every field that you'll see on it, but I want you to build tables simulating that web page. You can go to eBay, you can go to wherever, and I want you to put at least 3 master tables along with it. Put one record in each, like I did here. Don't spend a huge amount of time. And when you create your PLSQL script, I want you to link together that one major order table along with your 3 masters and print information. Same as what I did with this. Does that make sense? What I'm looking for? Okay. Yeah, you can make it up as long as it has a main table of some sort and 3 master tables. Then I'm fine with that. And for now, you can make them all one-to-ones. We're going to talk more about the one many issue and explore that further. But by the way, going backwards, if I started with region master and link back to my sales, what kind of relationship would that be? One to many. Yeah. So it's kind of like where do you start at in terms of building a one to many or one-to-one relationships? We'll go ahead and stop there. I'm 2 minutes past the end time. Apologize for that.